Joe Zikas from YoChicago.com. I'm sitting at Renaissance Lofts in Rogers Park with David Derk, who's one of the owners. And David and I share something in common. We both bought condos with buyback guarantees. Mine was more than 35 years ago. And I think David and I have had a very different experience with the buyback guarantee. I did not exercise mine. David's tried to exercise his, and how has that been working, David?
It hasn't been working. We exercised the buyback back in June of 2010. The buyback is not a gentleman's agreement. It's not a verbal thing. It's part of the sales contract. It's a rider in the contract. You know, one of the main reasons I purchased here at Renaissance Loft is because of the buyback. I'm a native Chicagoan. I was gone for 15 years in Arizona caring for my parents. And when I moved back here, the buyback gave me the confidence that if the condo did not meet my needs, that I could make a change. So it was important to me.
And you decided, in fact, to exercise that just 8 months or so after you bought.
Yeah, it became pretty clear to me that that it's a very noisy location. We're right on the intersection of Clark and Howard. And I got very used to the quiet where I lived in Arizona. And I know that a city location is not going to be library quiet, but it's a noisy area. There's also some problems with exhaust from the restaurants next door, and I have asthma. And so I really thought, I need to be in a more interior location or a neighborhood location that would be much more to what I want. So I exercised the buyback on June 2nd. We signed a sales contract with Nick Kopley, a residential sales, a separate sales contract. And
so you had a second binding legal agreement?
Yes. And then very close to the time we were supposed to close, my apartment's all packed up, boxes. We're notified by the Kopley people, we're not going to close. Well, no explanation, no nothing.
How was that notice given to you?
By the attorney, by Kopley's attorney, and then it, went through my attorney. So, we have been totally cooperative. We say, well, let's pick another date. What date is good for you? So we went 2 more rounds with it. The second time we got a new date, memorialized in an agreement letter. Very close to closing, we're not going to close. Well,
Again, no reason given?
No reason given. So then after the third time, my attorney, kind of pressed Nick Kopley's attorney and said, what's going on here, And the message that Kopley's attorney said to my attorney was that Mr. Kopley said, go ahead and sue me. Go ahead and sue me. So that's what we did. A contract is a contract.
And the suit is very early in the game. It was filed just 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Yes, it was filed a short time ago. Mr. Kopley and the Kopley Group have been served. So the next step is a case management call. There's also another owner that filed for the same reason in the circuit court after I did my filing. So right now there's 2 active buyback litigation suits, or whatever you want to call it, in the circuit court.
It also appears that Kopley may not have been paying assessments on some of the units that they own here because liens have been filed by the association.
Yeah, not too long ago, the association filed a suit in civil, in the Cook County Circuit Civil Division, and I guess the board of the association, there were monies owing to the association from Kopley, And so the board settled on $19,000, which they received. And then in addition to that, received a court order to take possession of 3 of his units in the building that he's renting out. And I'm told that this taking possession is not like, you know, we own this place or whatever, but the tenants that are in there are legally served, and then they submit their rent check to the association. Their rent check comes to the association. I've heard, I haven't gotten confirmation on it, but I have heard kind of in the grapevine that there might be 3 more of his units that they're going to take possession of in the building.
You are, David, about as clean hands of a purchaser sewer as I think I've seen, because you're not in financial distress from being underwater on a mortgage because you don't have one.
I don't have a mortgage. Thanks be to God.
You paid cash for the unit?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So how does it, is there any satisfaction in having filed the suit, or does that leave you as much in limbo as you were before?
Well, I find no satisfaction whatsoever in suing somebody. But when there's such a, you know, a blatant breach of contract, when there's been no cooperation, no communication, no kind of saying, well, you know, this is what we're doing. In fact, at one point, they offered me $3,000 to forget the buyback. You know, I may not look, I may look stupid or something, but I find that kind of offensive. You know, that $3,000 and this goes away.
I take it you wouldn't be able to sell your unit for what you paid for it at this point, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think that most of the units that sold in the building sold very close to asking price, I think. But with the market being what it is, I'm sure that there has been some decrease in appraised value.
That would be despite the fact that the unit is an attractive location to some people. You have a Chase branch in the building. You're across the parking lot from Gateway Center shops with Dominic's and Valley, and not very far from the Howard L stop.
Yeah, I think for a younger person, this is a great location. It would, because of what you just said, it's got great location, every kind of transportation right at the door. You got the Howard L and the routes to Evanston, to Skokie. You have the bus, every bus and Metro and Pace bus available. Dominic's food across the lot, Bally's Fitness Center. So, there's an awful lot going for it. It's just that for myself at this time in my life, I really want something a little more quiet and a little more inside of the neighborhood. I grew up in a neighborhood in Chicago, and so being in that kind of more of an interior location where you have that sense of belonging to a neighborhood is something that I really miss, and I would like to get into. I have no desire to bring suit. This is a last case scenario, but I think that a contract is a contract, and I've heard
it is to you.
Yeah.
Not every real estate developer follows that philosophy, unfortunately.
Well, I would like to think that there are some good developers out there that live up to what they promise, live up to what they're contracted to do, and there must be. It's just that I can't. How can I put it? I can't really think of being treated this way. It just is not something that. It's something that's very foreign to me. And so maybe I'm not living in real estate reality, But I think that there is a value in saying, you know, this is something that is wrong. I have not been treated correctly or fairly, and I have to say that out loud. And I can do that also in terms of bringing a suit. People have said to me, well, Dave, it's an LLC. And so the LLC can go belly up, and you know, any of your litigation will just fall flat. And I know that's a possibility, but Nick Kopley has 3 retail units in the building that Kopley 16 owns. One is a full Chase Bank branch, the other is an edible arrangement franchise and a hair salon. So I think those are valuable assets that he probably does not want to walk away from.
Well, I wish you luck on this. I would tell you, for what it's worth, from my experience, which is a long experience, most of the developers are honorable, honor their contracts, honor their obligations, and you unfortunately appear to have dealt with one of the ones who don't. So, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Joe.